hope everyone can access this, and you should be able to select the course we are doing, view course. I'll go ahead and resume learning. Now, as of yesterday, I was making sure that at least everyone is able to log in, and most people, I think I had a one-on-one call. We sorted out the issues they were having. So here, when you open this, it will open on overview. Make sure that you go on progress. Look out for the lesson you're on. Right now, we have completed module 1. I will collapse that. Then I go to module 2. Today, these are the lessons we are going to go through. Even last time, we did most of this, though we are going now to do again another panel beating to make sure that everyone understands what we meant. So when you come to any of the lessons, feel free to click more here for detailed reading in case you want to understand exactly what is in getting data from multiple sources. What does it mean? So those are the things I will be talking about, and we are going to run through all these lessons from Power Query and ETL, that is extracting, transforming, and loading. We are going to again get data from multiple sources. We are going to clean and prepare data. We are going to apply the different data transformations. I'm going to introduce you to M language. I told the team last time that Power BI uses a language called M language, which in full is called Mashups. M-A-R-S-H-U-P. That's the name of the language. Like if you have heard of people talking about Java, people talking about React, people talking about Python. Now this is a language. You'll see how the code is. Every time you use Power BI, it is writing code for you in the background that you can reuse that code over and over and over again. You don't have to keep repeating the same steps. Then we are going to look at what are applied steps and what do they mean by queries being dependent. So we are going to look at those queries, the applied steps and the queries. How do you manage your applied steps every time you're cleaning data, querying, and all that? Name them. So this is our module 2, data preparation and Power Query. And guys, just make sure that your bar is moving, because right now, if you're on module 1 and your bar has not moved, it means that we are leaving you. It means that you're not taking off time to do or repeat what we have done on the call, because you're going to forget. By the time we reach the 3rd or the 4th, you'll have forgotten what we talked about in the first. So for any new tool you start or learning, please make practice as much as you can. So I would suggest get off 30 minutes every day. You do something on Power BI. Even if you just open and look at it, it is okay for 30 minutes. So this is how Power BI is. Even if you're busy, open this Power BI, navigate, look through, pass your cursor, hover on these icons, read what everything means, such that when you reach a class or when we reach that point, it is easy when I say you go to modeling and add parameters, go to modeling and look for a new table. Or when you read it in notes, your mind already tells you that I have ever seen this one in a certain tab. Because it is all about understanding this interface. The moment you understand where you can find everything, it becomes easy for you to navigate when you're already working. It becomes a challenge when you're already trying out whatever you're doing and you can't find a certain icon. I have a friend, this is a joke, I have a friend once, he spent long time and he came back to me and said, we were once in computer labs at school. They said, Chris, my keyboard has no W. Like, it means that he didn't take time to understand the keyboard. By then we were starting computer. So the same thing comes now to this. The moment you don't get which icon is where and what does it do, it becomes a challenge. So when you come to the web and you go to progress and click on learn more, let's say we'll go
Excuse
to
me, Chris.
this. Now if I like on cleaning and preparing data, if I say click more, click for more, it's going to generate for me notes that are in line with that topic, which means I can do an extensive reading, understand exactly what is it all about, such that by the time you're doing your practice or you're working out something, you already know the terminologies, the history, and how some of the things are navigated. So that's how I structured it, such that it can give you an overview, the key concepts. Those are the like terminologies used. Like you see the ETL process. This stands for extract, transform, load. We are going to see those steps. Those people who were with last week, you saw the steps. What does it mean by extracting? That is picking data from wherever it is. What does it mean by transforming? That is making your hands dirty, removing duplicates, removing nulls, removing empty spaces, splitting columns, making sure that each column is having its own data type. If it is a date, it is being looked at as a date, not as a number, not as a text. If it is a number, you have, let's say, a column with currency. Somewhere some numbers are having UGX, others are having dollar sign. You have the way how you have to play with it to make yourself dirty, such that by the time you reach the loading status, you have already cleaned everything, ready to transform and create business insights. Data transformation, that is actually the act of changing the structure of data, which we do. Changing the way how they give you data to the best way how you can use it to its purpose. Then here it gives you the step-by-step explanation. You can imagine, it gives you all what you need to know. It tells you scan your data through your columns for, these are the things we look for in this module we are in. Look for duplicates. If they are not there, look for empty cells, blanks and nulls. If they are not there, look for columns that are giving you errors. Understand where the error is coming from. If the data is not yours, go to the stakeholder, ask them, what does this mean? Can I eliminate it from the data, or we shall need it part of the output? The inconsistency is where you find that some people were putting male, others were putting M, others were putting man, others were putting boy. How are you going to play off with that to make sure that the column is just talking about male and female? They introduced others, so them. Then column names that aren't descriptive. We saw those headers last time and how we deal with it. The incorrect data types, I've already talked about it. You have a column with numbers, but you can't sum. It only does count. Why? Because that column is being looked at as a text. You have dates, but you can't filter them like month, quarter, year. No, you can't, because your dates are being looked at as text. So these are the major things we look at. I have a video I created, 12 things we look out for when you're doing data cleaning. All these are there. But this always has to be in your mind when you're cleaning data. I have to look for duplicates, not there. Okay. I have to look for empty cells, not there. Well and good. Like that. Then how you address them. How do you address duplicates? Do you remove them? Do you delete the duplicates and remain with unique values? Still, it depends from the owners of the source data. If they tell you that, my friend, our data can have duplicates and it is okay, the same tracker number, taking the same tonnage, the same date, the same hour, of which in real world it may not appear like that. There has always to be something that is unique. If other items are the same, at least the time when this truck loaded has to be different. So if you have ever done audits, those are the things we look out for. Then how do you handle nulls and blanks? We are going to look at that. Now you can imagine that when you have read all this and you start doing data cleaning, it becomes easy for you because already you have the history of why you're doing it. Renaming columns, standardizing data formats to make sure that a date is a date, a number is a number. Then you can even skip the practical examples for some of the lessons because you'll already be having data you're working on. Then the common mistakes. I always like and I always tell people to go and look out for this. You may be making a mistake, yet you don't know that it is a mistake. You see, like here, not saving steps, changing data types. Sorry, this has disappeared. Changing data types. Here, the mistakes. Over cleaning. You know, when you over clean, you start destroying. That you'll end up start removing actual valuable data, which was not meant to be removed. Not reviewing changes. You're doing changes, but you don't know how your data is shrinking. You can imagine you have been given data, 10,000 rows. You remove duplicates. You remain with 96 rows. There has to be something running in your head. Could this be real? Because you can't find yourself, you're removing over 99,000 something as duplicates. Then the owners of the data have to answer that. When you're cleaning all this, the mess has always to be smaller than the data, most of the cases. Then ignoring data types, I've already talked about it. So you see the way how I formatted this. Obviously, this is generated by AI, but I gave it the prompts in the back end. So every time you generate, this is the format it will be giving you the notes. So you can clearly go through and understand. And here it just explains in real world. Like it tells you, imagine this. Like you also imagine you're building a Lego, but some of the pieces are broken, some are wrong colors, some are missing. You wouldn't be able to build a standy, beautiful model, right? So you have to first separate. Even children do that. You give them the Lego pieces. I don't know whether we all know Lego pieces. These pieces we buy for kids to build houses and all that, plastic. They will first remove the ones that are already destroyed. They may want to build something with the same color. What they are doing is what you do here as data preparation. They are doing their preparation, then they can start building the Lego they are working on. So you can always save your notes such that every time you click for more, it brings those notes because you only have 10 tokens a day because they charge us for this AI generation. So everyone has 10 tokens. So when you're reading and you generate this, save it such that the next time it brings the same. When you regenerate again, it will somehow twist this, but you'll have used another token. You can copy this and take it in your Word document. Maybe if you want to print, some people are not used to reading on screen, they want to read on paper, it's well and good. Or you want to archive your notes, or you want to transfer them to someone else, it's well and good. So I wanted us to first go through that because it is the main thing when we are not together for the remaining 6 days of the week. Now, let's hit our data. I have already told you what it is, what we do by Power Query and cleaning data. I have a sample here of data which I already prepared for us to use. Meanwhile, please, you can post in the chat. I have people on the call who can answer. Even if someone posts on the chat and you know the answer, please pass it out. So just a moment. I have a data set here now. We are going to work on this HR data set. I want to first show you how it looks like. Just a moment. Okay, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Now, we have some systems. Me, where I was working, there was a system. When you download CSV, everything comes in one column. You see this? It is in one column. But I can tell you that we have over 37 columns here. But you see, everything is in one column. When you check in the formula bar, if I can double click, you see 49 number 10, like you can't really understand what this is. Now, what do we do here? Yes, we know with Excel, there is that property in data of changing text to columns. It's there. If I can select this column, I say change this text to columns. It is going to bring these delimiters, yes. Then obviously there are tabs. You can even select commas and all that, but I'll leave it as tabs. Then when I say next and I finish, it's going to, just a moment, you see this. These are the columns. So when you look at these columns, I've selected all of them. How many columns are they? You see there are 26 columns, but it was only one column. How do you deal with such data in Power BI? This is exactly what we are going to look at. We have seen in Excel how you can deal with it with ease, but I've already told you Excel is not a visualization tool. It is there for planning, for the logic, for preparing, for validations, but it is not for visualizing and reporting. So I will close this. As we said last time, you can't start working on a document, you can't export a document that is open somewhere being used by someone, even if it is a Google Sheet. You can't do that. So I will close this, but for the meantime, let me first leave closing it. I will move this file of ours just where we can easily see it here. I'll move it here, then I'll close this. So we are going to open our Power BI. So if you realize that the data we are going to move, the data we are planning to move is a CSV. This is a CSV. It means that when you come to this interface, you go to get data. We have already done this. We go to get data. There is text stroke CSV. You can use this option. If not, you can go to more. So when you click on more, you have all the categories, but leave out the all come to file. You'll find it there, text stroke CSV. It means when I click on text stroke CSV and connect, someone else was asking me, what if I do Excel? Because people know that anything with an icon that can open in Excel is an Excel. So what if you did Excel? Can I pick that document? Let's try it out. So when you do Excel workbook and say connect, then it is looking for the file where it is. I know where I've put it here in this class. You see nothing is appearing. When you check here, nothing is appearing. But let's go back and pick it as a CSV. We can use this option. So when we go to that, we go to class 2026, Jan, here it is. Because I couldn't see it the first time I was trying to export an Excel, XLSX, that's a format of an Excel. Excel has many file formats. Now, there is also another format called CSV. CSV stands for comma separated version. So here I can see it, which means when I select it and open, it is going to export it. We are exporting the cell, or we are connecting the file from wherever it is to Power BI. So it will bring for us this first dialog. Yeah, they are telling us its file origin, the delimiter, they are showing us their commas. We don't know, but we know they are tabs. So if you make them tabs, but even if you don't change that, we are going to sort that the other side. Here they are telling you that we have given you a sample of 200 rows. You can change this for you to see the entire data set. It means if the file has like 10,000 rows, Power BI will always give you the first 200 just to see. It is like a preview. Then there is do not detect data types. When you click on this, most of the cases, it means that even you don't know whether your data has headers, but I would always opt for you to leave it as default. Now, remember the ETL, extract, transform, and load. We have done the extraction. Let's assume the extraction is done. We are not going to load before we confirm that our data is clean to the purpose we want to use it. That's why by discipline, I always go for transform data. Never skip and do clean. Load. You do load when you know that I'm already aware this data is clean. There is nothing I'm going to clean. I just want to load it in Power BI, start right away to do visualization or relationships and all that. So I'll go to transform data. When you click on transform data, it is going to open another dialog box, which we call Power Query Editor. Now, this Power Query Editor is like the engine of Power BI. Now, if I take you back in the history of Microsoft first brought Power Query Editor into Excel. Excel has Power Query Editor. Actually, if I can open it, Excel, when you go to under data, there is Power Query Editor. You see this, get and transform data. When you do get, it also has the same properties like they are in Power BI. But because Excel you can do the data cleaning, but you can't extend to the other third option of creating visuals and sharing or automating. That's why they created, I don't know whether I have questions. Okay. Let me look at the questions first. How do I rename a column? Notes were not really clear. We shall do that. My internet went off for a bit. Okay. Did we create rows? No, we haven't done anything. I mean, go. Okay, fine. Then if I want to separate, say, names for top scorers from the score. Oh, we are going to do that. I know most of us have been struggling with that data from Wikipedia. It's good Desmond came out with a response to that. Thank you for that. Yeah, I know most of us have been struggling with that, and I like it with that data from Wikipedia on the way how to separate and split and all that. But we are going to look at that. We shall hint on that. So I was saying that Excel has both Power Query and also it has data modeling here. I don't know whether we have ever seen it. When you go under data, under section get and transform data, everything you find in Power Query is there. When you go under data tools, you'll find data modeling there. In Excel, it is called Power Pivot. But it was not sufficient enough for people to use it because you would just use it, clean your data, model your data. You'd not go ahead to visualize that data. You'd not go ahead to automate it. That's why it came up with another product that purposely runs that. So that was just a hint for you. Now, when this Power Query editor is open, you can't open any other file of Power Query. Even if you have another report, maybe here I'm working on report for finance, and HR personnel has come, please check for me, the other number you put on the report is wrong, You can't open another Power Query file when this editor is open. It is always a blocker. So you have to do whatever you're doing, you close and load, or you close and apply, or you just close by not applying any change you have done. So those are the three options. Now, let's go back to this. How do we clean this? So when you look at such data, like the way it is, CSV, it has loaded everything in one cell. How we clean this is by splitting these columns. So when you look at home, the parameters that are there, we have some parameters that are meant to be under transform, but they give them to you on the home face. That if you want to use them quickly, you can find them here. But if you want to go to transform, you can also find them there. So under home, they give you the quick ones, like they would assume someone will want to use many times. Then showing you something else. You see, I always add icons here. When you have icons that you are using so much, like in every report, I have to split columns. Come and right click on this, add it on quick access toolbar. It will be added here on top. And every time I need it, I just click here. Whether I'm under view, whether I'm under add columns, I don't need to keep hovering. It is already here. Just go here and look out for the options for split columns. So you can add most of the icons that you use so much at the top here, in case you feel like it disturbs you a lot to keep looking for it in this menu. So how do we split this? We split this by looking at the delimiter. Delimiter means what separates that value, what separates those values in that cell or in that row or in the entry. Since you know that the file we are working on is a CSV, I've already told you that CSV means comma separated version. It means that that file, it is always separated by delimiters. So the delimiter here we are going to use is tabs. So why are we using tabs? Because we don't see any commas. Because I don't see many commas, it means that if I use comma, if there is any data that was having a comma for its purpose, I would separate that and it would ruin my data. I'm not going to use spaces because if I have a column that has two names, let's say Sabit Christopher, and I say spaces as a delimiter, it will separate Sabit in a different column and Christopher in a different column. The challenge comes if your data, some people have three names, others have one name. It is just going to ruin the whole data. You'll find that you are doing a mess than the cleaning. That's why in the notes they told you, don't over clean. Now, when you realize that here, what is separating these, they are tabs, then I will come to separate column and I go to by delimiter. I'm separating by delimiter. You saw last time we are using some of those here, but this time we are using by delimiter. It will open another dialog box at the top. You see, automatically it is giving me tabs, but you can change this to colon, comma, equal sign, name them. And even if you have custom, you can put them. Let's say my data was being separated by two equal signs. That is custom. You can put it and it will separate your data by two equal signs. So this time it is a tab. I will put a tab. And mind on what is selected here. Each occurrence of the delimiter. Wherever they find a tab, they will separate that as a different column. When you say leftmost delimiter, it will only separate columns on the left and leave the other ones as one column. You'll have not done too much. rightmost. Now this one comes, maybe I can also talk about it. Like there is a name we separated last time where we used brackets, and yet in that same field or in that same cell, there were a pair of brackets. So that's where now you determine whether you're going with the leftmost or the rightmost. You get? So this time we are using each occurrence. Every time they will find the delimiter, they are going to separate. For the advanced, here it gives you the number of columns you have. You see, don't change this to rows. It has to remain to columns because we are separating columns. Leave everything as how it is. Go ahead and OK this. I'm doing it detailed, not because it is affecting the data we are working on, but in case you find some other data, you can use the same knowledge. Now, when you look at this, we have separated this data. It is having 35 columns, but it was being showed as just one column. And this is not the end of cleaning. Now, we have separated the columns, one job done. But when you look at your data, there has always to be a column that has to give you, that has to act as a masterpiece. Now, when I look at this column, when I click on this column, you see I get a value distribution. By the way, how do you get this? How do you activate that value distribution? Is if you come under view, you have to make sure that here, column quality and profile, they are checked. If I uncheck them and I select this column, nothing comes. But if I check column quality, it brings the quality here on top. It tells you the valid, the errors, the empty. Then column profile, it profiles every column you click on. If I click on this, it is going to profile that you have travel rarely, they are 706. Travel frequently, they are 192. Non-travel, it is 101. This one is 1. Then there is it gives you now a sense that business travel is not part of the data, but it is a heading. Why? Because you see the headers are just named as column 1.1, column 1.2. That's not the heading, the headings we have for this data. We saw that in the notes. You have to rename your headings. That is our second thing we are going to. And how do you determine that? I've told you, look out for a column that is going to act as your master data, a masterpiece. If this column, all of them are numbers, why is this one showing me distance from home? Then it is not part of the values. It is part of the headers. Okay, let me first answer the question someone asked. How do we rename headers? If you want to just rename headers, double click on them and rename like this. You see this? There, that's how you rename headers. And automatically it creates a step of you have renamed a column. You see this? These are the applied steps we talked about. Everything you do, it creates a step. And everything you do, Power BI creates for you a code in the background. When you go on view and you go on advanced editor, you're going to see the code they are writing for you in the background. Even the last step we have just done, it's here. It is telling me I have renamed a column. I was on step change type 1, which is this, and I renamed a column. The column, it was column 1.3. I've renamed it to rename. Now, if I want, it means when you reach a point, you have advanced and you can look at this code and you know what it is talking about. And this is the M language, which means I can rename this and call it Power BI class. I can rename from here and say done. The moment I do done, you see the renaming changes. It means that even I can manage my changes from the code itself. So whenever you have an advanced editor, it can give you a visibility of whatever is running. And with time, you will even understand what is happening. When you get errors, you can easily drop here and look at the errors. look at, it will always show you here like a balloon. You know that this row is having an error. Or sometimes it may pop up an error balloon. It will tell you line this has an error. You come to the advanced editor, you know, when I was renaming, I did a mistake. Then you go to that step. You know that this applied step was the problem. For now, I don't want you to look even at the language or at the code that is in the back end. Give it a blind eye for now. So the next thing, can someone chat for me what we are supposed to do for this header? How do we call that transformation we are going to do? If you can place your chat, I'm just waiting. What is the transformation we are supposed to do to move this heading from it is in row number 1 to make it a heading? Someone is saying rename using first column. So I go to this first column, I start renaming age. I rename this attrition, I rename this business travel. No, that is a long way. It can work, but it is a long way. But even if it works, you'll have to create another step to remove this heading, row number 1. Thank you. So, anyone? If you can't type, you're using mobile, can you unmute and speak? Okay. I don't see anyone telling me what to do. Someone has said append. No, Ellen. No, we haven't reached append. I will show you what append means. I know you have wanted to know what is appending and what is merging. So we don't append. What we do is when you go, there is a chat that has come through. Use first row as headers. Exactly. So use first row as headers is the action we are supposed to take. But how do we call that? We call it promoting headers. You'll see that when we promote the headers, it will create a step here that I have promoted the header. Bringing this heading from row number 1 to make it a heading, we call that promotion. Obviously, bringing it down, it is demotion, but it is a negative promotion. So where do we find that? We go to transformation and look out for, actually, with easiness, it is under home. Under home, here it is. If you want always this one to appear in front of you, just right click on it and make it add to a quick access toolbar. So this is it. Now there are two options here. Use the first row as header, use headers as first row. When you say use headers as first row, it means you are demoting the headers into first row. When I say first row as headers, it means I'm promoting. That's why it is always the default. The moment I click on it, it promotes what was in row 1 into the headers. And you know what has happened? It even automatically does the change type for you. It changes for us the data models. Because Power BI or Power Query detects every number what it is. It detects that every column what it is. You see all those columns are ABC now. This is a number, that's why it has been made 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3 stands for whole number. You see this is ABC because it is a text. You'll find that it has detected all the data types for you, and this is the step that I've created for you. You can view the steps here. You see all this has been done automatically when you promoted the headers. It changed every column, the type. So that is what has been done. We have promoted headers. And when you check here very well the setting, when you click on this icon, it gives you what was done. Promote all Scala types. It promoted those headers. So here you can change this only text and numbers types, but by default, let's go with the other one. This one Maybe in future I'll tell you what it means, or you can read about it. I don't want to confuse us. So we have promoted headers. They have changed types for us, and everything is logged here. What next? So we do, when you have done a certain transformation, the next thing you're supposed to do, we call it data exploration. Explore your data. Exploration is go through your data and check whether everything is fine. And when I'm passing my eyes, my exploration is looking at the data quality here. I want to make sure that every column, there is zero error, there is zero empty. Empty is not bad, but error is bad. Empty, obviously, in a certain column or field, there may not be entries, but still, you as an analyst, when you're transforming, make sure that you substitute those nulls. So you'll go through, explore your data, look at every column, how it is, the quality it has. 0, 0, everything is 0, everything is 100% valid. So there we say all is good. Now, if you suspect that we may ever have duplicates in this data, come here and remove duplicates. You see this icon here, it has quick options. So click on that icon, look for remove duplicates, which is here. Remove duplicates. It will run and remove duplicates. Whether they are there, whether they are not there, it has run. You know what it means when most of my queries, I pass this as the last, even though they are there or not. The day someone will copy an entry and paste it ×2, maybe they are trying to bypass audits. When it comes to a report, I will already have passed my step of remove duplicates. That duplicate will be removed. Maybe if they change something, because when you copy data in the raw data, and they change, let's say, an age, that this one was 41, they copy the same, but they change the other one to 23 years. All those two transactions are different. They are not duplicates. So Power Query looks at all columns. If there is any entry that is the same all columns, those entries are termed as duplicates. But in case there is anything that changes, then duplicate is intentional. How does it determine duplicate? Is it in a column? Now, what if the duplicate is intentional? Like I've already told you, there are other avenues you can use. If it is intentional, anyone who has done it intentionally, they will try to change something in one of the fields. Now you see, like this data we are dealing with has 35 columns. It means that in any column, that person has duplicated their data, and they come and change maybe years at company and change this to 4. That data is no longer duplicate. They are unique to each other, because in a certain field, they are unique. They are different. It means that now you can capture that in another avenue. Either if you are checking the number of employees, and you know that you have 40 employees, and they show you that you extracted 41 employees, then there is a problem. Then when we pick the number of employees, maybe you try to put it in a table and maybe put a count, everyone should bring 111. If an employee is counting twice, it means there is a transaction that employee is holding twice than it is supposed to be. So you can use other avenues, but on the remove duplicates, you may not capture that. Okay. So when you confirm your data is clean, there is nothing else you're going to do. The only thing is I have to make sure that I rename it here with the right name I want it to pass with. I can just leave it as HR. I remember last time I told you that we try to make sure that the names of the queries, we leave them short, that when we reach a point of creating DAX, of creating expressions, formulas, that name will be breaking, and it will always give you errors in those formulas. And sometimes you'll have to run it in brackets to make sure that it doesn't break. Like it was, if I go back on this step, renaming is not part of the applied step. Like it was HR analytics data. It may break and remain HR analytics, and it will tell you that it can't find that query because the query this side is HR analytics data. So make sure to leave it short. Make sure to try as much as possible not to put space. If you want to put at least 2 words, separate them with an underscore. Like if I say underscore data like this is okay. But when you leave space, it may work, it may break. Then here I go ahead, apply. Now, when you look at these 3 options, let me explain them. Let me start with the last one, close. Close will even first pop you a message here. Do you want close without saving the changes? Here it will close and it will not save all these changes. Then apply. It means that I'm applying the changes. Maybe I'm standing off my desk to go and pick something. I'll come back and start from where I stopped. Such that even if someone shuts down the laptop, I'm not losing whatever I've done. That is apply. You apply, but the Power Query editor remains open. Then close and apply. It means I'm closing the query editor. It has closed, and it will apply changes. Don't fight with this red balloon here. It is applying changes in the background. It will disappear. When you fight with it, this thing goes in the background, and you can't close it. If your PC hangs, you have to close the whole of Power BI. So leave it to load. After it has loaded, it will disappear. Now, here we have concluded. It has loaded with the 1470 rows. Now, when I look at my data, remember in your notes you should have read, we did this in module 1. We have 3 parts here: the report view, the data view, and the model view. A recap: the report view, it's where we build our report from Visuals Plus, name them. The data view or the table view, it's where we have visibility of the data we have loaded. So even if you load 4 or 5 files here, you will have them visible from here, table view. When you click on each, it will be giving you a preview. Then the data model or the model view, it's where we do our relationships from. So currently we have only 1 table loaded this side, and that's why it is only 1. Then we shall look at this DAX query viewer like in module 5, how we create all the DAX at once. Then the TMDL also the same. It is used for bulk loading of DAX, but ignore the 2. Now, let's go here. Now, there is an error most of the people they have been sharing with me. Those who have not managed to log in with the Subtech account. But also, if you have a company, if you're in a company or you have a company email, and that company is under Microsoft Workspace, how do you tell that your company is under Microsoft Workspace? When you join meetings in Teams, you are under Microsoft Workspace. If you see a company joining meetings in Google Meet, they are under Google Workspace. It means you can't use that company email to log in here. If you're in Google Workspace, even if it is at subtechonline.com, you can't use it here. It will refuse. Now, if you fail to log in and it keeps bringing you that pop-up of login, Desmond, you struggled with that. I've been making a research on that. This is what you deactivate. Just pay attention. We have a lot of settings. Those who we went through those settings last time, I said they are a lot. You can always go there when you want to change something. So you come on File, You go to settings, then you go to options. It will open a dialog box with a lot of settings. Don't touch anything you feel like you don't know what it does. So you come on preview features. Obviously, you'll always have the default ones checked and some unchecked. So there is an option here. I'm going to pick a highlighter such that we can see the option I'm talking about. So there is this called Translytical Task Flow. You're going to uncheck it. If you want to work with Power BI, not logging in, but it shouldn't bring you that thing of please log in, please log in. Every time you want to do something, it brings please log in. You go ahead and uncheck this. So I will explain what Translytical Task Flow mean. That means, actually, in brief, it means that if you have created a report and you have automated it in Power Automate and Power Platforms, you can allow people to change data directly in the report, but that is an advanced bit. So you don't need it right now, which means you can uncheck it if you feel like I want to work even though I've not logged in. But obviously at some point we shall have to log in. Okay, I think that is clear. Let me save this for us in case we need it. I'll share. So I will uncheck this and say okay. Obviously, when you change any setting, you'll always have to close Power BI and open it again for it to work. So I will not do that. Always remember to save your file. So when you go to save, to open this, the default one it brings may not be your choice. Always go to more options. Then even when this one comes, you don't have maybe the recent you have used, just browse this disk, this device. It will open the other usual explorer of ours that you're used to. Look for where you want to put this. I will put it here. Then I will say HR data. And make sure you leave this one as a Power BI file, which we call PBIX, Power BI file, which is in short PBIX. So every extension of a file in Power BI is a PBIX, but we have more, the PBI template file and the PBI project file. Like if you're an IT in your company, you create a template where everyone uses that template. Like we have templates in Google Slides. Like you don't have to start a presentation in your own PowerPoint file. You have to look for the company themed template. That's what I'm talking about. Then the Power BI project file, this is if you are working more than one in a file, you can save it as this, but it involves the advanced settings. So we go with the default one. I will save my data, and now it is saved. So now that one we did extraction of a CSV. Everyone now knows how to extract, how to do this. Now let's run into other files. How do we get from the net? We did that last time. I don't know whether we need to try it again. What I want us to try is how we pick data from a Google Sheet, because most of us are working in Google Sheets. So I want to open any dummy Google Sheet. Meanwhile, if there is any question, please which account am I logged in, giving me this. So meanwhile, I will be opening a Google Sheet there. I don't want to waste a lot of time. Last time we were extracting data from the web. Let's say if we look for, let's say, Ministry of Works, Ministry of Education and Sports. Let's go to that website. We see whether there is any table we can extract, because I don't want us to make it that we shall always extract data from Wikipedia. So I think my network is another mess, but we shall endure with it. So I'm trying to look for tables, but if I can't get them, still I can take the whole of this and go to our Power Query. Now, those ones who were not with us last time, this is the way how we extract data from the web. I've copied the URL. It can be a forex exchange table if you're in finance. It can be any table. So you come here on Get Data. This time we go to Web. So the moment you click on Web, I will use Basic, paste there the URL. Go ahead and OK. Now, this is where I wanted us all of us always to pay attention. Anonymous, it means the data I'm bringing is public. Already, I accessed it without logging in. Windows means you're picking data from a website where you require to log in using your Windows access. Windows access meaning that what you have logged in with here, the access that has logged in here, this is the one you use Windows here. Basic, it means someone has given you a username and a password to log in that website. The web API means application interface. So if you have an API, like people do integrations, like you want to pull data for weather forecast, you go to the website of weather forecast, you bring an API, you come and put here the key. For it, you bring the key. You first put the URL, then you come and put here the key. And for APIs, the keys are bought. You may find that you're supposed to buy it and for you to extract that data. Organization account, you're signing in on behalf of the organization. You're having organization logins because it is an organization platform. Let's go back to Anonymous. I've explained everything here. So Anonymous, I will connect. Now, Power BI is going to connect. Obviously, we have not checked which table we want to pick. We want to see whether there are any tables we want to pick from the Ministry of Education website. It is going to load, and obviously it doesn't fail when it is public. It only fails if you had to log in with some credentials. Why it takes long, it depends on your network and it depends on the RAM of the laptop you're running with. Meanwhile, it is opening. Okay, here it is. It will open the navigator. The navigator will drop down all the tables it has picked from that website. So it is upon you to go and navigate which table do I need. Maybe they have uploaded results for P7. I don't want to copy them and paste in an Excel like any other person. I want to extract them and put them in Power BI. Maybe rank the highest schools, the students, a lot. You want to do a lot of analytics. So here you shall come and review. You see now, like this table maybe was a header somewhere. This one also not so much of purpose. This one not so much of purpose. You see, these are the tables now that are on that website. So you may find at the end of the day, none of the tables we need. So it means that, but if we needed, let's say, like this table, just go ahead, select it, then it will give you load here, and I will be able to load the tables. So the moment I say load, it is loading. Don't apply it. This time I've loaded immediately. I've loaded automatically. I've not gone to transform and load and do that. I'm waiting for it to load. Now, because it is from the web, it may take time because it is picking, even refreshing whether it has been updated on the web. Those who have been dealing with data for maybe Premier League and all that, you'll find that every time you open your file, it updates with what has been already played. Now, if we come to data view, I just wanted to show you that you can view more than one data here. So when you come to data view, you see this data. This is the data we have exported. It may not give us any mileage, but this is it. So maybe if you want to go to maybe to separate this, you can play with it. How do I separate the date? Which means I will separate for any value that is before buy. Let's take it to Power Query. So if I want to go to Power Query here, editor, I will click here and say edit query. So it will take me to the query editor, and I can rename this and say this is, we have got it from education. Now I want to separate this. Obviously here we don't have headers. Now here that's where you go ahead and rename. This is this, this is this, this is this, da 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 da. Now if I want to separate this date, to put it separate, there are many ways I can do it. You can click here and say extract. Under transform, there is extract here. Now extract, it gives you a range of options, but I see everything has buy. So I may say extract anything before buy. So here you come to text before delimiter, then you say I'm extracting everything before space, then buy. Then if I say OK, you see it has extracted and removed the others. I've remained with a date, and this date is still being looked at as a text. So how do you change the data type? I'm trying to look at different things such that we get the principles. If I'm changing data type, how do I change? Do I come directly to date like this? Yes, it automatically. The moment it shifts from the left to the right and gives you a calendar icon, it means that this has been changed into a date. It means that when I'm doing my analysis, I can analyze by quarter, by day of the week, by day of the month. I can do that analysis. But how it was before, you can't do that analysis. So that is it. Now, in case this fails and gives you errors, and for you are looking at this that it is a date, we always use the last option, which we call use local. Now use local, you can change any data type above if it has failed to change automatically. If I change date and it gives me an error, it means there is a value somewhere that is having, let's say, 11 DEC, December. It was not a full name, and they are looking at it as if it is different. We always come and use local. You cancel or you delete the step you had created, you come and say using local. We use local as the last option. Now, when you say using local here, you select that. What the data type I'm looking at is a date. And the locality I'm in Uganda. That's now the purpose for local. That even though it was not changing the data type, maybe the data type was in the US format, that it was starting with month December 11, 2025. And in Uganda, for us, we know it is 11th December 2025. So even if it is not Uganda selected here, make sure you look for it. You see, English countries are very many. British countries, America countries are many. Chinese. For those data types they use. So you have to look out for the locality you're working in. Obviously here it will always give you the samples. That the sample here for Uganda is 29th March, this Tuesday, this 29th March. March 2026. Let me change this to Singapore and I see. Singapore, it is that. Let's go to Lesotho. Oh, it is American English. Yeah, you see now this. Any English that has the word America, those that were colonized by, is it British? For them, they start with month, then day, then year. So when you have a data type like that and it fails the other first option, you come and play with it, this format. It will accept. So brothers and sisters, we have to look for our locality, that is Uganda, but you look for it from English. You just have to remember that we are colonized by British. We are in English, not in Chinese, even though Chinese are colonizing now. So here you go ahead and OK. It will do the other format, which we did first. But this is an extended one when you have got an error and you have to use the hard-coded by local. I always forget to take people through that, but I think it's good that I remembered. Just checking questions here. Yeah, you can't save if you haven't done loading. Sometimes here when you try to save, it asks you have to apply or apply later. So the moment I say I wanted to save my data and it tells me this, I can say apply later. It will save the data, but it has not applied the steps I've done. Those are the dynamics you'll always find. So when you save and it tells you say apply, it will apply the changes and save your data. But leave your Power Query editor open for you to do another errand. You may want maybe to load more data, you can do that. I think that question came from Peace. Then I realized, no, it came from Noelina. Please allow me to take you back how you loaded the data from the website where there was actual tables. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can do that quickly. Come here, close and apply. We go back to our data. It is always good for you to be on the report view such that you don't get lost. Let's look out for a website that has data. Obviously, we shall have to go into sports. Sorry for those who don't love sports, we shall have to go to sports. Now, there is this website which is already giving me this table. More standings. Anyway, the website is here. Let's open it from here. Then the moment I open it and I see there is a table, this is a Premier League table, I'll copy this. Let's take it to our query. Just get here, web, and wait for it. Paste here. Okay. Wait for it, anonymous, connect. Wait for it. It will load. Those websites that are not heavy, they will always load with ease. Websites that are heavy, like you see Ministry of Education, it is a whole ministry having a lot of documents, it will take time. Now, the real table here, this was your ask. I'll go ahead and I want to spare some time to talk about appending and merging. That question has come many times. So when you click on this to preview, you see this is not what we want. Actually, it may be this, table 1. Then there are also suggested tables here. This one actually is giving, I don't know whether these are points, but you can always go on the web view. You see how it looks like on the website, whether it is exactly what you want. You see? So there is this table. Then there is another table, maybe on another tab, but we shall go with this, which is on the top here, HTML. so which shows the 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 position played, or the balls played, the wins, the draws, the losses, and the points. So this is what we are going to load. If you want to load it, click on check it first, then you'll have the load. If it is not checked, you can only preview it, but you can't load or transform. Check. If you want to load more than one, check both of them, or even 3. Check all of them if you want to load all of them. But since I don't need this, I will not load them. The moment you load them, they will appear here. But remember, we said garbage in, garbage out. The moment you bring a lot of things you're not going to use, you find yourself hustling to put together your report. So let's use this transform. We are disciplined. Let's first go to transform, then we shall load it if we confirm everything is clean. So this is the table. I'll come here and call it PL, Premier League. Mostly if you want to put the word table in short, we always use TBL. So table Premier League. So looking at this, it is all done very clean. Even the data types, you see the steps that have created automatically. It promoted the headers, it changed the data type, all done. So the only thing I have to do is for me to take justice and load it. So just go, close and apply. It is going to load my table. It's loading. It's loading. Yeah, 20 loaded, which means when I come to table preview here, I can click on my TBL table and this is it. So I can easily preview my table from here. You get. So this is how the table is, and this is perfect, already clean, which means when I come on visuals here, we haven't reached visuals. That's why everyone, maybe you're waiting for me to draw some charts. We haven't reached there. I want to concentrate on the part we are on transforming. But in case you want to create, like, let's say a visual, let's say you want to create a table, and you can put these Premier League table, Premier League teams here. Then you insert where are the points here, and this is what we shall have. So that is it. So if you want to change this into a column chart, when you click on a column chart, it automatically changes into a column chart. When you click on a bar, it automatically changes into a bar. When you click on a matrix, it changes into a matrix. But a matrix is different from a table because a table has only columns. A matrix allows you to split what to put on values and what to put in rows and what to put in columns, right? We shall reach all those in visualization and talk about everything. So there you have done that. If you want to put, let's say, a scorecard, so I can put a scorecard and bring points here. It will obviously sum the points. So all the teams have a total of 685 points. If I copy that and paste and put it aside, maybe I want to count the teams. I can count the teams by dropping teams here and I cancel that. You see? Now here it is bringing you the first team. So if I want, I can say I want the last. It will bring the last. Wolverhampton. It means that is what I want to show my report. The moment I select this, it will automatically, because I've filtered Bournemouth, it will bring me Bournemouth and it will bring me the points they have, 34. Then what else can we do? A lot, but we shall do all that. And someone was like asking me, how do I show top 5? Top 5, like you're looking at this table, you come on under filters. Then we want top 5 by points. You'll find there sum of points. Click on that. You see there is a filter here. Come on. Before I don't have to do it on values. I have to do it on teams. So I have to look for top 5. So I will come on basic filtering. You see where there is basic filtering, you look for top n. So top n, it means that I want to put the number I want to look at. So if I put here 5, then here they will ask you, you want top 5 by what? That's when I will go and pick the points again and bring them here. So I want top 5 by the sum of points. Then you apply. It will give you the top 5. Arsenal, Aston Villa, Chelsea, da 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 da. So that is top 5. If I want to copy and paste that, and I create also for bottom, I want to create also for bottom. So this, I'll come here and change the top to bottom, but leave the other one as top n, but change here show items bottom 5 by points, apply. It will give you the bottom 5. So which means if I'm running a report, I can run a report here, 2 tables, one for top and one for bottom. Now, even if I changed this to bar, I saw a comment, it was from Victoria, and someone was telling him that if you want it to show nice and neat, just do a top, then you change it to bar. So you see when you change it to bar and you have done like top 5, it looks neat than you having all of them in one chart. It doesn't make sense, but obviously you have to put it always in heading for your readers that this is top 5. Top 5 items, top 5 maybe sales representatives, top 5 da 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 da. Even this, if you want to change this maybe into a chart, I can use column here like this. These are bottom 5, and they are being sorted by alphabetic. So if I want to sort, I can come back here and say sort axis by points, not by teams. So by points, then it will sort from bottom ascending or descending. You can also do it from here. Now it is doing ascending, that's why you see it is starting from the smallest to the largest. If I do descending, it does from the largest to the smallest. Then you can even go ahead now. There is a format here, format pen. You can activate it and do other settings like putting data labels, a lot. You can do a lot. We shall reach that in visualization. That's why I don't want us to go into the depth of visualization. We have the part for that. Anyone? I hear anyone with a question? Okay, the question someone is asking, I think I've answered you piece. We have picked a table from the real web with a table. If I've marked and loaded tables and maybe find myself that I missed out some tables, how do I go back and mark them? Wow, yes, that's a nice question. Now, when we go back let's go back to Power Query Editor, use this, click on these 3 dots, go back to the query editor by edit query. If you can't do that, under home there is always transform data here. The moment you click on it, it takes you back to the Power Query Editor. Then when you reach Power Query Editor, you touch the table you want to touch on. Now, this table, you're saying where we got it from, there are those we didn't pick. So when we go back to source, you see it shows you all this. But when we come to extracted here, what we extracted, just a moment, we leave them to load. You see, obviously still it loads what we selected, but let me show you a trick you can always run for. In case you want to go back and pick another table, not this Premier League table, but there is another table you want to pick, that you can always do it this way. You can always duplicate this, or you reference this. Let me duplicate it. So if it duplicates, it is 2 now. Delete everything from here you see where we extracted, you see we want to delete all these steps. Then we see whether we can go back. I'll right click, then you come on, you look for delete until the end. Delete until the end. So the moment I say delete until the end, it is going to ask you, because the moment you delete, there is no undoing. We don't have Control Z in Power Query. So the moment you delete, you can't undo that. So it takes us back here on the source. Now when we go to the source, you see we start again on where we put the link. Obviously now we're removing this Premier League. We leave that slash alone, then we say OK. This is if you don't know the URL where they picked it from. Like we are going back, maybe we want to pick another table. Has this run? Or okay, I think we already hit a snag. For web, it may not run the way how you may run when you're picking from. I will have to delete this. Then I show you another option. Now, another option is always the recent sources. So recent sources, you always have the sources that you picked, the recent data you picked from. So you see we have education, we have Premier League. So if I click on this, from the recent sources option, it will take us back. The other option you needed, it will take us back, then you load another table, maybe you forgot. So you give it some time, here it loads. So if you forgot this and this, you load them also separate. And we have this time loaded, we have not gone to transform, because the question was, how do you load? Transforming, you can, yeah, we have loaded them. Obviously, the Power Query editor was open. They first opened in the Power Query editor. So the table 3 is the summary. It was, I think, like a key of what everything in the other table shows. PL shows played, W shows won, So which means here the only thing you can do is promote this to headers like that, and that table is done that way. Then what else? Actually here you can even go ahead, because you see now there is a double here. This and this look to be the same, so which means we can separate this. So if I click on this and I got split by delimiter, I can say now split by space. So if I split by space, columns, each occurrence, okay. Whoa, there were a lot of spaces which we didn't. So let's split by the left occurrence, the first occurrence. Yeah. Between this, let's go back here. Between this and this, there are a lot of spaces in the middle here. That's why it created a lot of columns. Now, I have tricked it by saying split by only the first space on the left. That's why it has gone for the first space. Then here you can go ahead and do another cleaning. Now, since we have realized that when you click here, is it this? You see there is a lot of space here. You see that space? When you click on any value here, it has a lot of space there. How do you remove that space? It's good it has come. Let's see how do we remove it. Now there is, under transformation, there is here on format. You see under format, there is trimming, there is cleaning, there is adding a prefix. Now here we want to clean. The moment I click on clean, are you sure you want to insert? No, let's put it after here. Oh, we just need to remove now this. Okay. Clean. Then it's going to do the cleaning, but has done the cleaning, still some of the spaces are there. Let's do another cleaning. That is now, let's do the trimming now. Trimming, trimming in Excel removes any extra space you have. You see now it has removed all the extra space. If I click here, nothing is again there. So that's how you remove those extra spaces that you find in your data. You trim them, which means now I never needed to do this cleaning. So even I can remove the cleaning and I'm good to go. But be careful when you're deleting applied steps in the middle of others. It will break everything and you repeat again. So under format, there is a lot of things you can do. If I want to put this into capital letters, I can go on format and uppercase with ease. With uppercases and everything is uppercased. If I want to add, let's say I want to add maybe a prefix in front or at the end, you can add a prefix or a suffix. Suffix is if you want to add things at the end. So if I say suffix and I say I want to add dash 2026, like this, it will add a suffix of dash 2026 on all the values in that column. So that is under format. You can try out others. Then what else have I not talked about? I know we may not talk about everything in extraction, but a few of the things come up and we talk about them. Before we end this call, I want us to talk about appending and merging. It has been a question that has been running. Some of the things we are going to look at them when we are dealing with data transformation and yeah. Desmond, you have your hand up?
I'm just inquiring if we want to add the prefix or the suffix on let's say one row.
In other words, on a value.
Only one.
Only one, like let's say on a value like this.
Is it possible?
You see now, this data, which means you have to add it from the other side. If you want to add it from here, let me go back here. Let me cancel this suffix. And you say that it is on these teams, team, maybe play. Okay, I want to add on teams. I want to make it teams 2026. There you're no longer adding a suffix. You're replacing a value. It means I will come here, click on that, then team, then here I call it a team 2026, like this. But now even this option, it is going to look out for everything with team and make it team 2026. In other words, when you're in Power Query, you can't deal with just one value. You're dealing with either the full column or you're dealing with a full row. When you try to deal with just a value, it means you have to update it either from the source, right? You go in the source, you update it, then when you come here, you refresh, it will automatically refresh. I don't know whether I've answered that question, but I think I've answered. But that is the only option you can run to just change one value. And even when you come here in filter, you'll see that value is changed. But when you change the value, it changes even every value that has the word team in that column. Hope that is answered. Any other question? If I've marked and loaded tables, okay, I answered that. Okay, fine. Now, let's load data for ourselves that I want us to do merging. Now, I'm going to we are going to create our own data here. Just a moment. Create a new file, then paste this data here, remove duplicates. Now let's do this. Let's put here year, then cells. So here we have 2021. So if we run that down to 2025, then I create a random data here. From 2000 to 10,000, like this. That is one of our data. Then you can have the same here, year and column. Then this is going to be 1970 that. We run this up to here. Then we can copy this data, put it here, like this. Now, I will make this a table. I will insert and create this as a table. Just showing you how you can create your own data with ease. So I will also insert here and create this as a table. Now let's name this as current. Then we name this as old. Now, in case you have extracted, even if you're seeing these are very few rows, just simulate that these are they are two tables from the different source, even if they are from the same sheet. So let me save this sheet first. Let's put it in our downloads just quickly. And name this sheet 1. Okay, just give it 1. Now, and the sheet here, we call it sales. So I have done this on purpose. I have renamed these tables, given them different names, current and old. Then the sheet is named sales, then the whole workbook is named 1. Let's close this, and obviously I have to save. Then we go to Power Query. We shall use the same Power Query. Don't mind, we have loaded it with a lot of data that is not in the same, that doesn't speak the same things. Now here we are going to export an Excel workbook. Because it is an Excel workbook, I didn't load a CSV. So you see, this is it. So the moment I click on it and open, it's going to load. It's going to load like this. I wanted to explain to you these icons. Now, those that you are seeing with a blue icon on top, they are always tables. And what you see here with like a sheet sort of, it is always a sheet name. So if you are loading an Excel file with like 7 sheets, there will always be tables if they are tables created. So it is always good to load tables, not to load a sheet. If you confirm that these 2 tables are in this sheet, because when you load a sheet, you see, it is loading the whole sheet and naming the other ones as blank columns. Yet, these 2 things are different. These 2 tables are different. These 2 data sets are different. So it means that if I load it as a sheet, I'm going to start cleaning by removing these columns. These will combine, and I start struggling on the way how to merge or append or do whatever we are doing. So I'm going to load these 2 separate, like this. So the moment you click on them, obviously I can take them in the transform data. There is nothing we are going to transform here. We just load them. So as they are loading, I'll open another page here, sorry. Okay, they have loaded here. Let me open another page just make sure that it is different from the other one. Now, when we go to data, in our data table here, we have table 2. No. Here they are named current and old. Now you see these two tables. These two tables, I want to combine them into one table, one on top of the other. Right now, when we go to our model here, where are they? Let's first put these aside. When we go to our model here, you see the current. Where is the old? Where is the old? Should be this side. It's here. So you see these two tables. These two tables have the same data, but I want to analyze them as one. Because if I start analyzing, I want if I filter a year, all of them should be in one stream, one repository. How do we do that? Now, when we go back to home and we go to our transform data, that's where we find the append and merge. First of all, you putting something on top of the other, I have to annotate on screen, just first a moment. If I click on current, now, let me pick my annotator here. Now, if I want this old to be added at the bottom here, let's say 1990 this, like to be added such that we have that data running downwards, then the whole of this becomes one table. How do we do that? So that is what we call appending. So if I expand my annotation here, so that's what we call appending here. If you can see that icon, you see that icon how it is. The other table, the table at the top, and there is a table at the bottom. They are added together on top like this. We call that appending. Then the other option of combining two tables using one common factor in the middle there, which is a column, what we always do as VLOOKUP, that's what we call merging. When you're merging, you tell Power Query that I'm using this as a common column that is appearing on both tables. Then what Power Query will do, it will merge the two tables. Like how we do VLOOKUP to merge. To bring another column from another table, you're bringing it in another sheet. That is merging. Appending is adding on top of the other. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and do, I'm having a challenge here with my keyboard. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and append. So, clicking on one, whether old, whether current, I'll go ahead and click on append. Now, on append, there are two options. There is appending as new append queries. When you say append queries, it is going to, whatever I'm going to add, it is going to add it on the old one. It means the old query will disappear. I will have merged it into a new thing. But if I want to leave these ones intact, maybe I'm going to use them for another analysis, but I want to create a new one. I will just say append query as new. Then it will open this dialog box. Now this dialog box, if there are two tables like they are here, it is very easy. The first one is old, the second one is current. You go ahead and do OK. But if there are more than one, let me assume that these, we haven't dropped them here. Wait a minute. They're not add. Okay, let's do as new. Then when you go on 3 or more tables, and I have many of them here, so when you click on it here, it tells you add that side. So when I click on it, it goes that side. When I click on it this side, I'm supposed to be removing it, but I don't know why it is not giving me. Oh, the X is here. If I want to remove it, the X is there. So I want the old on top and then the current next. So these two tables are going to be appended together. So the moment I do OK, Power Query is going to create for me a new table called append one. This append one, combining both of the columns. You see now the rows are 20. Old had 15 and current had 5. So append has appended them to 20. It means that now if I load this, close and load, obviously it is going to create another table here, append one. Here it is, it has come. Yeah, append one. This is the table. This is it. This is it. Now when you come to this side table view, you'll see that append one is having the whole data. It means that now if I go to visualization here and maybe what am I going to do? Let's say I'm putting this and I use my append here. I bring the cells on values. It will calculate for me that, and I can go to format and say on the card, the call out value, the values I don't want. You see what here it is giving me? It is giving me 110K. So let's assume you're bringing a table here, this, and we are putting our year here and our cells here. Now you see, because year, I didn't leave year in text. Year came as a number. That's where you start facing challenges. That when we go back to transformation, under, you see under append, this year was denoted as a number, but me, I know this year is not a number. Why? I don't want to aggregate it. There is no way where I will find myself adding 2024 and 2025. So this is always left as text. Reason why we leave it as text, that when you come this side, they should never add it. You'll see it changing after it has loaded. You see, it is going to synchronize, then it is creating an error because here it was summing, yet I never wanted it to sum. So I never wanted it to sum, so I'll remove it and put here again, like this. Now, here will drop like this. So here you can easily now analyze all the years at once. But remember, these years were from two tables which we have appended together. It means when I go to the other sheet, where is our sheet? I'm going to update that sheet, by the way. I'm going to update it, then we come and refresh here, just to show you that a kind of automation. So if I update this downwards, then even I can pull 1992 to have much more than one. I'm saving this, close. Then I go back to my Power BI. You see these values, I don't know whether we cannot. Obviously, we know that there were 20 years. So if I extend it here and come here and refresh. Now, when you're refreshing, there are many things they are telling you. Do you want to refresh a schema and data? Schema is the other relationships you're seeing this side. If you have done relationships here, do you even want to refresh this? We don't always need to change relationships sometimes. So you either refresh a schema if you have changed the relationship and you want to refresh, but this time I'm just refreshing data. So I'll click on data, it is going to refresh. Oh, I've refreshed all the tables, which is bad. I was meant to only refresh this, which means I was meant to go to Power Query and refresh only this. But when you refresh the whole table, because it has many tables, it is going to refresh all of them, which is a challenge if you have one of them that is heavy. And that's why you see these ones we got on the net. should see the years increasing, and you see, you can imagine the other table of education with 4 rows. It was taking long because it was coming from the net, but these ones that are coming from our own desktop, they are quick. Now you see, this time how many are these we are having. If I can change this scorecard and we change it to count years. Let's see how many years do we have. So come here and count the instinct. So we have 27, which means 27 added. And you see when refreshed, it went up to 32. So it means that when you have shared this report with your team and you have set your configurations of refreshing every 30 minutes, this report, every time they update, it will refresh automatically without your intervention. So that is the part of automation we are going to find in sharing data. I have explained merging, though we have not done it, but you can try it out. For some tables you have been doing VLOOKUP, it will merge for you those tables.